For over a decade, Sun Han remained an unremarkable name in the vast world of Korean television. Since her debut in 2003, she floated quietly through the industry, cast in minor roles that rarely allowed her to shine, always standing just outside the spotlight as bigger stars took center stage. But in 2017, something shifted. Cast as the tender, fiercely loving BXL in Fight for My Way, Sun Han delivered a performance that tugged at viewers' hearts. For the first time, her name echoed through living rooms and fan forums alike. Still, her climb was slow, uncertain, until 2024, when lightning struck. That year, she stunned the nation as the cold-hearted, manipulative Young Sumuin in Marry My Husband. Audiences couldn't look away. With every episode, she pulled them deeper into the character's twisted mind. Love her or hate her, you couldn't ignore her. And paradoxically, it was this venomous, unforgiving role that made Sun Han a star. Suddenly her face was everywhere. Interviews, brand deals, trending hashtags, social media erupted with fan edits and fiery debates. She had arrived, but in Korea, fame is rarely without its price, and hers came swiftly. Just weeks after the drama wrapped in April 2024, the ground beneath her stardom crumbled. JTBC aired a national expose, a harrowing account that stunned the country. A woman, identified only by her initial, stepped forward with a devastating claim. Sun Han wasn't just a fictional villain. She had once been a real-life nightmare. The woman alleged that during their elementary school years, Sun Han subjected her to relentless physical abuse. The accusation detonated across news outlets and social media platforms. In a nation already grappling with celebrity bullying scandals, this one felt different. Sharper, darker, more personal. How could an actress who had just won over the public with her talent now be accused of such cruelty? The country reeled, and the allegations only deepened. According to the accuser, the abuse wasn't isolated. It was systematic, a pattern of violence. The JTBC broadcast detailed terrifying accounts. Beatings inside classrooms, assaults with objects, one of them, an iron hairbrush. The victim spoke of trauma that never left her, anxiety, fear, a paralyzing phobia of school. The story exploded, and so did the public. It was a combustible mix, a newly famous actress, a character already hated, and a culture deeply wounded by stories of school violence. The internet lit up, especially on Nate Pan, Korea's notorious forum for shaping public discourse. Reactions were fast, furious, and deeply divided. Like this video if you're following this shocking transformation from star to scandal. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the truth will come out? And don't forget to subscribe for the next chapter of this gripping, real-life drama. But what truly ignited the fury wasn't just the accusation. It was the silence. The chilling, deliberate silence that followed. The public's trust began to collapse. Online sentiment turned venomous, with thousands echoing one brutal line. She played the villain so well because that's who she really is. And then came the agency's response. King Kong by Starship stepped in and poured gasoline on the fire. Rather than a bold defense, rather than firm evidence to clear her name, they offered only a vague, non-committal statement. They were verifying the facts. And to a public already losing faith, that wasn't enough. Not even close. To a scandal-weary Korean public, this didn't feel like damage control. It felt like quiet confirmation, a response so lacking in urgency, so void of conviction, that it only deepened the doubt. Doubt that settled in like thick smoke, unshakable, heavy, permanent. And in a country like South Korea, where bullying accusations have toppled A-list stars in the blink of an eye, that doubt wasn't just damaging, it was lethal. Days later, the agency finally broke its silence. But instead of clarity, it offered corporate coldness. They issued a follow-up. Sun Han categorically denied the accusations, but it was too late. By then, the public had already made up its mind, and then came the bombshell. JTBC revealed that their investigative team had spent 2 years on the case. 2 years interviewing witnesses, gathering testimony, cross-checking names, faces, timelines. According to the lead reporter, several former classmates confirmed that A had endured serious bullying. None named Sun Han directly, but they didn't have to. The implication was glaring, and in the court of public opinion, that was enough. Now, Sun Han's name sat at the center of a storm built on scars, painful memories, and stories that refused to be buried. And just when things couldn't get worse, another blow. An anonymous post surfaced online. It claimed to come from a former classmate. The letter described a toxic school culture. a hierarchy ruled by a group of girls who tormented others. One of them, the writer claimed, was Sun Han. The identity of the author was never confirmed, but the internet didn't wait for proof. The post spread like wildfire, trending, reposting, fueling forums. It was a perfect storm. Raw trauma, a meteoric star, and the recent memory of her playing one of the most hated TV characters in Korea. The line between the drama on screen and the one unfolding off screen began to blur. In the eyes of many, the villain on the show and the accused bully became the same person. Her breakthrough role, meant to define her career, was now destroying it. Sun Han, once hailed as a brilliant new talent, was suddenly cast as a real-life antagonist. And her silence, it was deafening. No press conference, no teary apology, no sit-down interview to reclaim her name, just sterile, calculated statements from her agency. In a country where public sentiment moves like a tidal wave, every hour without a human response was another nail in the coffin of her image. Social media turned volcanic. Hashtags surged. Comment sections demanded remorse. Some called her arrogant. Others said her silence screamed guilt. And still, nothing. Then came the final blow. Brands began to back away. Commercials were pulled. Posters vanished overnight. Endorsement deals were revoked. Quietly, but ruthlessly. The same industry that had once celebrated her rise was now shutting its doors with a chilling finality. If you've been riding this emotional roller coaster with us, hit that like button to show your thoughts. Was the silence a smart move, or her downfall? Drop your opinions in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe so you're first to know what happens next in this unraveling saga, because sometimes spotlight can't cleanse the stain left by real-life violence. And in the world of Korean celebrity, when advertisers walk away, it's a death knell. Sun Han, once a marketing dream, was now a brand risk. Her name had become radioactive, and just when it seemed like the backlash couldn't go any deeper, it did. Social media ignited again. Anonymous accounts began appearing, claiming to be her former classmates. Some offered a sympathetic picture. A quiet, misunderstood girl, someone who wouldn't harm a soul, someone struggling to fit in. But others, they added fuel to the fire. They described the same elite cliques, the same whispered rumors, the same cruel games that turned high school into a battlefield. The effect was dizzying. Confusion flooded the internet like wildfire. Conflicting voices clashed with every click, and the truth became harder to pin down. News outlets wasted no time. They dove headfirst into the frenzy, churning out breathless updates, speculative headlines, endless cycles of commentary, every statement analyzed, every silence dissected, every repost spun into something sinister. And over on YouTube, creators pounced. Video after video popped up with titles like "The Truth Behind Sun Han." Does she deserve a second chance? Each one claiming to offer the final word. But this was no longer about truth. This was war, of perception, of image, of narrative. And the dominant perception? It was damning. Even if the law said otherwise, the silence, the shadows, the chilling ambiguity, it all screamed louder than any confession. Then came the moment that changed everything. A renowned criminal lawyer appeared on a primetime panel show. He was composed, careful, calculated, and yet his words cut deep. Legally, he began, there's not enough to convict her. But then came the dagger. Legally doesn't matter, because in South Korea, the court that truly decides a celebrity's fate isn't housed in marble halls. It lives in the comment sections, the trending tabs, the brand boardrooms. And when it comes to school bullying, that court shows no mercy, especially not for a woman who had just tasted national fame. Sun Han's silence became deafening, and fans who had once fought for her began slipping away one by one. Angry defenses gave way to quiet farewells. I really loved her in Marry My Husband, one user admitted, but I just can't watch her now. Others didn't say a word. They simply unfollowed, deleted posts, vanished. Weeks passed, then months. No dramas, no films, no endorsements, no headlines, just silence. And in Korean celebrity culture, silence isn't neutral. It screams abandonment. It whispers disgrace. It's an unspoken exile, one that has devoured many before her. Still, some fans held on to hope. Maybe she'd return. Maybe, like others, she'd weather the storm and step back into the light. Maybe the the truth would clear her name, but reality wasn't kind, because school bullying, especially physical bullying, isn't something the public forgets. Not in Korea, not when its scars run so deep, not when the accusations mention iron hairbrushes and broken childhoods, not when the silence lets others write the story for you. If this story deserves more light, share this video, tap that like button if you've been following Sunhan's fall from grace. And tell us in the comments, do you believe silence is guilt, or is it self-preservation? Subscribe for more deep dives into the scandals that shake pop culture to its core, because in South Korea, school violence isn't just a scandal, it's a cultural wound, raw, unforgiving, and once your name is etched into that wound, wiping it clean is nearly impossible. For Sunhan, that scar seems permanent, and the industry that once embraced her now leaves her frozen at the edge, unable to step back in. Then, whispers began to spread again, a chilling rumor echoing through the silence. Was she planning to abandon her identity once more? Was another stage name change on the horizon? After all, Sunhan was already a rebrand, her second act after debuting as Kim Buell. Some even whispered she might walk away from acting altogether, but none of it was ever confirmed. No live streams, no letters, no tearful explanation to her fans, no apology, not for the scandal, not for the heartbreak, not even a single line to those who once stood firmly in her corner, just silence. Thick, unforgiving, impenetrable silence. And that silence, it's become the most polarizing part of the entire tragedy. Some called it strategic, a smart move to avoid pouring gasoline on the fire. But for many, it was a devastating misstep, because in the hyper-connected world of 2025, especially in Korea's emotionally intimate celebrity culture, silence doesn't read as grace. It reads as guilt. The public craves transparency. They want to hear from the person behind the scandal, even if it's just to say, I'm sorry for what you went through, even if I wasn't the one who caused it. But without a voice, the story belongs to everyone else, and that's what doomed Sunhan. Others filled the silence with speculation, with rage, with rumor. They built a version of her story she never got to challenge. And now, in the summer of 2025, the once rising actress feels more like a ghost. No new projects, no public appearances, no trace of her name on casting calls. Her Instagram, frozen, untouched, a digital time capsule of who she used to be. In an industry that already pushes women out after 30, a scandal like this doesn't just close doors, it slams them. What could have been the start of a luminous chapter collapsed into silence. The glow of her second chance faded, eclipsed by the darkness of a past she never truly escaped. And so, she remains in limbo, suspended between fame and obscurity, between the woman they once celebrated and the teenager some claim never left the shadows. The question still hangs in the air. Does she deserve a second chance? Can audiences learn to separate the actress from the girl she used to be? Or has her story already been written by everyone but her? That answer is yours. What do you believe? Was Sunhan unfairly crucified by the court of public opinion? Or is this simply a reckoning, long overdue? Should she break the silence? Or is silence still her safest shield? Let us know in the comments below. Your voice might just shape how this story is remembered. And if this deep dive into the unseen corners of Korean entertainment moved you, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell so you never miss the stories behind the headlines. Until next time, take care.